Okay. Monster.
Attention, please.
Yo. 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 Yo.
Welcome to your Inspirational Astrology Horoscope for Friday, June 21st, 2024. I'm Astrologer Dave Palmer, the Leo King, here to illuminate the collective consciousness. Well, thanks so much for being here. Make sure that you are a member of highvibe.tv. We have so much that's going on there, especially I've taken this whole week to redo High Vibe completely with times of shows, and I'm also launching something pretty epic on Monday. Make sure that you check out what's going to be launched through my socials. I'll even post about it here on YouTube and on High Vibe and on all my socials as well. We got a lot going on. It's the solstice, of course, and this is the full moon in Capricorn. That's the first of two full moons in Capricorn. Remember, there will be no full moon in Cancer this year. I actually was talking about that earlier this year when I was at the Conscious Life Expo on the astrology panel and being like, well, no matter what's going on, there's no full moon in Cancer, so it's not going to be that comfy. And let's not forget, yeah, the sun in Cancer, this solstice is something to really look at, especially having a full moon on the solstice points. But the fact that we're getting another full moon in Capricorn and that Pluto is on its way back to Capricorn by September 1st, this is the foreshadowing of, ironically, the future that's going backwards. Now, it's a little bit like a warning sign, and not a bad way. It's like that spiritual warning sign that says, hey, you got shit to wrap up. You know what I mean? You got shit to finish, right? We've been in Pluto Capricorn since 2008. And no matter how much we want to feel that Pluto's in Aquarius, it really has not had the Sun and Pluto conjunct it yet. Remember, that Sun-Pluto conjunction happened this year at 29 degrees and 59 minutes at Capricorn. Next year will be the Sun-Pluto conjunction. At the same token, Pluto still has to come back into Capricorn. And I think what people are feeling on this full moon is the realization that no, there is no breakthrough this year. No, there is no, oh my God, we're getting to the place I want to get to. Capricorn does represent responsibilities. So it's really, if you have an issue with responsibility, and especially what the last 16 years has been about, especially go look at your own natal chart and go, where is Pluto in my chart? Where is not just this full moon, but the other full moon, which I'll be covering, of course. So I'm sure that some people out there are like, what did he make for this thumbnail? Because the astrology community's thumbnails suck. You guys can't even tell the fucking horoscope through the fucking thumbnail with AI and shit out there now? Like, wow. But it's a time machine. Now, most people love time machines about moving forward. Let's go into the future. Although I think it's really interesting because Back to the Future was all about how he really did have to kind of go back to the past. This is where we're going. We're going back to the past. We're reflecting very deep energies. Even, what's really interesting is the sign of Cancer is about the past. But the moon rules Cancer. And there is that red pill, blue pill choice I have up there. This is what I was talking about with Pluto. And of course I have the creepy dude. That's my Pluto guy. That's like the hidden, I guess you could say, Capricorn, like goat who is like in trench coat with the end above his head, standing next to it. But this man from the 1770s, especially that year, 1777, which were very similar aspects. It saw that Pluto come into Aquarius, come back into Capricorn. And remember, we're not used to this, meaning everybody alive right now that could be watching this, whatever generation you are, you're used to Pluto coming into a sign, retrograding and ingressing back into a sign, and then making it its ingress in. You're not used to, let's go into Aquarius like last year, let's go back into Capricorn, let's go back into Aquarius earlier this year. Oh, wait, we're going to go back again to Capricorn? That forward, back, forward is not what we're used to, because we lived and we are now living in the transference of not only where Pluto is orbitally and how it does fall below the celestial equator, and it literally gets to the underworld like it has since 2018, but the slowdown of Pluto in its transit. So this is this weird time because we've been through so much already with all this Gemini energy and even the Taurus energy. And now we come into Cancer. And what is Cancer really about now? Well, it's not like some massive thing's going to happen here except a Mars retrograde. But that's going to be at the end of the year and coming into the beginning of 2025. But the main thing is these full moons. We saw Mercury, Venus make their conjunction as they came into here. And all that we can really do to find comfort is not in burying yourself into the sheets. If I see another astrology post of somebody saying, just go bury yourself in the sheets, go sit in the comfortable well. This is full moon in Capricorn twice. With Saturn, that happens to be in Pisces with Neptune. So it does feel chaotic. Jupiter is in Gemini in square. We're going to show you all this stuff, but I just want people to start to realize, we are looking at this reflection of a big choice in your life. If you've already known, I think the last time I came on here for the new moon in Gemini, I said that the whole world and the shadowed reality would be like so factual in your face, whether it's me predicting all the crazy religious stuff. Especially, I can't even believe in America they're going to put the 10 Commandments in schools in Louisiana. That shit is fucking whack, and that shit is exactly what I've been predicting, and that is fucking crazy. 2, the shot. Sorry, but courts aren't saying it is a shot. States are finally revealing that, I can't believe that they lied to everybody and said that pregnant women could take it, or look at all the miscarriages, or look at that it's not actually called a vaccine. We're changing the name of it. Oh, but people still don't want to have that talk. I'm sure you've watched that talk with Robert Phoenix and I, where the astrology community won't address it still, especially the astrologers that pushed it. I invite them to get a hold of me, but they are too weak. And that should send lots of signals throughout the spiritual community. I just did my Jupiter wild ride through Gemini. I cover all 12 signs. Believe it or not, this is 8 hours, but 4.5 of those hours is me going through every zodiac sign and how Jupiter is going to affect them on an evolutionary astrology level for the whole entire year of Jupiter in Gemini. So this is not just your typical TikTok astrologist being like, good luck and fortune will happen in this house and blah, blah, blah. No. On top of that, I spend 3.5 hours going into why Jupiter in Gemini is such a rare occurrence in astrology, and going into the alchemy of it and breaking down old secret astrology codes that haven't brought up to the surface for about 500 years. and blew a lot of people's minds. So if you have not got this yet, it's only $19.99. You can go to highvibe.tv and click on the top of the website. You'll see Jupiter's Wild Ride. And then, of course, tonight I will be on High Vibe doing a spiritual dance music, because this is going to be a rare one as we come into this occurrence of, we are coming back into Capricorn. So I thought I would show, as I've been changing my life, my personal life here, and my schedule and dealing with family stuff, I am doing this one from my house or my backyard, and it's going to be not so glammy with all the stuff, but it's more about the music on this one. So it will be on highvibe.tv. I can't do them on YouTube here anymore, and I don't have the energy or the time to even put it on Twitch. So become a member of highvibe.tv if you really want the real stuff all the time. Let's go into this full moon. So, of course, we just had the solstice, which usually the solstice is June 21st. But, you know, for a lot of us in the Western part of the world, it did not happen. It happened on the 20th because, I mean, we are in a leap year, but this is a full moon happening at 1 degree of Cancer and 1 degree of Capricorn in 7 minutes. We've seen this Mercury-Venus conjunction happen, and it does feel like a little bit of a weird space, because if you think about a lot of energy, so we just had that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction within the last month and a half. We've had Jupiter, of course, make its ingress into Gemini. We saw a lot of aspects in Gemini, right? We saw Mercury, Venus square Neptune. We saw the squares to Saturn. We saw all these pressure points, and we saw all this electricity, and even Mars is on its way towards Uranus. So this Cancer energy is trying to go, okay, can I restore? Can I find my nutrients? Can I find that? No, it's getting a huge reminder that this full moon in Capricorn is like, Pluto is coming back in here, and you better get your shit straight. And it's like, what? But if you think when there's always a lot of energy going on, Cancer is where we actually take that moment and emotionally process, and this is a lot of waves of frequency that are hitting us, not only just from the sun and the solar rays, the cosmic rays. If you see the sun, it's popping off like crazy. So this is a little unsettling, right? There is no full moon in Cancer this year. Remember that. There will be no full moon in Cancer. And the sun, it rules Leo. It does not rule Cancer. So the moon being at its detriment twice in the Cancer cycle does not make this about a comfortable time. I've been seeing a lot of people, and I'm empathetic, because a lot of people are like, why does this feel like a Mercury retrograde? Why does this feel so weird? Well, it's right here. Let's not forget that Capricorn moon is at its detriment. And you're going to get that twice. We all are. We're going to get it twice. That's like a double punch. And it's a reminder that you are not done. You are not done with watching this world go through its extreme trials, challenges. But it's for you to take a minute and go, what do I have to get done? What do I have to make change with that's going to make things more comfortable in the long term? Remember, Capricorn's about this long term. The medicine right now is I have to look at what has been challenging and what changes I have to make, because we are ready for Saturn and Neptune to begin slowing down. And that is where it's also becoming weird, because when you already have Neptune starting to slow down and Saturn, remember, Saturn is about to station retrograde here on the 29th in a week. So the next full moon will be Saturn retrograde. Neptune's getting ready to retrograde at the beginning here in July. So you have to remember the energy of Pisces and the feeling of disassociation and is the highest it will ever be until next year. Because to next year we have the North Node there. We have eclipses on top of Neptune as it's changing from Pisces into Aries and so forth. With Saturn, that's going to be also ingressing into Aries and retrograding back. And I can't believe they don't conjunct, and not till 2026, but they get right there. And they don't conjunct in Pisces. But I think it's really interesting that this is another part of this. And if you also remember, like, this is Neptune at the last degree and the last minutes of Pisces. It is lost in confusion. It is dazed and confused. It is subconscious energies popping up. And the moon is very relatable to that. But this is a hard energy because this is a full moon that is in square to Neptune. And even though it's not by sign, to be honest with you, that makes it weirder. That we don't know how to take our emotions and our comforts. And this could also deal with your personal life and your work life too. But it really is going, oh, this is a lot for me to look at. And I don't know where it's all going to go. You have to say, maybe trust your gut. Well, with Neptune there's Saturn. And Saturn is being disposited by that moon in Capricorn. So already that moon in Capricorn's detriment. And it's got this Saturn Pisces quality to it, which is like, I have to just stop the subconscious bleeding. I have to stop losing my emotions, right? I have to stop whatever is just making me feel like I'm slipping down the road and nothing's changing, right? Which literally is insanity, right? So it's like, keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting results and not getting them. You're not, it's insanity. This is you facing the responsibility of like, where does it keep just fucking falling apart? Where is it not working too? Sometimes falling apart might just feel like, you know what? I keep doing this and it becomes a struggle to where it's not producing any more positive results. Like, that's what happened to me. I've been on a schedule that's been horrible for 4 years, especially during the pandemic and making the big predictions and then moving into the studio. And I literally was doing Deep Love Tarot at like fucking midnight and shit because most of y'all loved it then. You guys were all at home. It's not that world anymore. So for me to make this adjustment, I had to go, this week, I have to change things. It's not been easy, but you know, it's nice waking up in the morning again. It's nice going to bed before the sun comes up. And I also have a family, and I also have my grandmother who just, you know, was in the hospital, and I got to be in her life more now. And I always was, but like, you know, I care about her so much, and we all need each other. And that's the good part of this full moon. The good, sweet part is with Mercury, Venus, Sun here, this is very friendly energy. The hard part is the subconscious, the emotional, and all these things that get lost in translation. We have Jupiter and Gemini, so communication is going to be key. And with Mercury being in Cancer, it's really interesting since, you know, I'm really used to being an astrologer reporting on, well, the oppositions to Pluto and the squares to Uranus and Aries. And it's like, oh, wait, hold on a second here. We're not dealing with any planets right now. In Aries, we got Chiron, we got the North Node, but we're not dealing with any planets in Aries. We're not dealing with any planets in Libra. We were dealing with the nodes in that axis, but okay, we're not dealing with a planet except a luminary twice in Capricorn. So this is also a new feeling. Remember that there will never be a full moon in Capricorn in your life again with Pluto in Capricorn. So that's what makes it even weirder too. It makes it so weird that it's like, this is still Pluto in Aquarius. And it will be Pluto in Aquarius. I'll just for fun show you the second full moon that's going to be happening on July 21st. And it's going to be conjunct Pluto, but by missing it by 1.5 degrees, a little over. It's going to be at the last degree of Capricorn, where Pluto will come and station. So this is the full moon warning sign of, you better get your shit straight now. The friendly energy is going, okay, what is going to make things more comfortable by actually using this full moon in Capricorn and taking responsibility and going like, all right, I'm going to stop the spiritual subconscious bleeding. I'm going to be smart with Jupiter and Gemini, and I'm not going to try and, keep going in a direction that's not working. Let me come back to basics and find a way to actually make the basics work and then expand again. So Jupiter and Gemini always brings us back to the basic, right? It's not the big adventure to go on right now. If anything, it's also where it's been too much of excess. It's saying, hey, come back to the facts here. We also have Uranus at 25 degrees now of Taurus. So it's saying, and it's also within a degree of algal. So, I mean, this is making sure, number one, that as we get to these placements, this is where, when it comes to humanity, that because you have different value systems, that you don't become the demon star itself. Unfortunately, when Uranus was with algal last time, it was World War II, and it got really ugly. And so there's another part of this that people aren't paying attention to. This is part of the ugliness. And guess where Mars and Uranus are going to meet? On algal. So, this is a full moon square Neptune. Saturn's involved because the full moon's in Capricorn, and Saturn and Neptune are both getting ready for their retrograde. And also, the rest of the astrology is getting ready for retrogrades, right? Because we're lucky that Jupiter doesn't retrograde until this fall, but Mars only has a couple more signs to go before it starts slowing down, and it's got a big conjunction with Uranus, and it's in its detriment. Mercury, of course, is retrograding in fire signs. This Mercury in Cancer has already made it through everything, and Venus at the same time, but it is a full moon opposed Venus. It's separated, but it is opposing Venus. So this is putting a lot of our personal, emotional issues, our values, and with Uranus already dispositing Venus, like I think that this is one to where it is becoming difficult for people to maybe try and understand like what to do with all the chaotic energies. It's more about coming back to the basics and being willing to get out of the emotional, get out of your bed, get out of putting the covers on, and go, okay, like, where do I have to make a change? It's about being honest and authentic with yourself. Like, I had to be fucking real as fuck when it's like, okay, God spoke to me so much now. My grandma was just in the hospital. Like, everything in my life, my schedule is not working. Clients aren't happy with me. Nobody's happy with me. That's my responsibility. I got to fucking make the change. So fucking I made the change. Believe it or not, now everybody's mad at me. But you know what? Fuck it. Nobody's going to like you. Pluto's in Aquarius. Not everybody will, at least. Right? Instead of trying to please other people exactly the way it is, you have to go deeper down and go, okay, I know the essence of what people want, and I know the essence of what I can do to change those things. And that's where this patience thing takes place. This is a full moon in Capricorn. Saturn's starting to stop. We're a week away from Saturn retrograde. Guess what? Whenever you're a week into any of these more outer planets, I always start with Saturn, and I use Jupiter too, but mainly the outers, right? But whenever you see the week when they're about to stop, you feel them more than ever. And right now we're feeling Saturn more than ever. And we don't want to feel Saturn. We went through the worst traumatic Saturn experience that anybody can go through back in January of 2020. And through all of 2020, and even through 2021, a lot of horrible aspects. And then Saturn, when it goes through Capricorn and when it transits through Aquarius, sucks, right? That's where they rule, and it opposes the luminaries. So you have to remember that, like, we're all kind of used to this little break. That break's over. And you might be going, there was no break. Correct. The break was like, here's water while you're going up a hill on a bicycle and you can't stop. And they're throwing the water at you. That's what it's been. But it's about that appreciation that we've got in the water. Now, you got to really turn it on. You've got to look for your foundation that's going to be best for you long term. You're going to have to go back to the past, and that's coming. But this is that pre-shadow warning energy. Like, it's a premonition. It's a, you know what? I do have shit you can't just escape. You can't just run away from your problems. You can't just douse them with pillows and think it's all going to be okay. You have to confront the challenging things. And for you to also deny right now that you have challenging things within yourself, within your emotional body, within your subconscious, within things that you still haven't fully got to the bottom of yet, because Pluto hasn't got to the bottom of Capricorn yet, right? That this is where you can really make this a lot easier the rest of this year by really using these energies to make the changes in your personal life and what we do in the world and what we do with our work, what we do with our talents and our skills, because we still do have Uranus and we do have Mars here in Taurus, and Mars actually is in great aspect with Mercury. So even though these are both kind of slow energies right now, Mars in Taurus, Mercury in Cancer, it is going, let me keep the train going. And you know what? When trains got to make changes, it's frustrating. It takes a little bit of patience. Then you add all this Capricorn full moon energy twice that's coming and that's starting to happen, and Saturn that's stopping. Instead of throwing a wild hissy fit to yourself, to others, or you to other people, this is about personal Cancer, Capricorn responsibility. Personal responsibility, and not letting the Neptune aspect of your subconscious wanting to try and push it down the rug or push it off tomorrow. This is where we take the medicine now. You just take the medicine now instead of being like, I don't want to. This isn't about you. This North Node in Aries is about who has the courage and the strength to actually lead by an example. Mercury is already starting to square the nodes. Right? So no, your mind and whatever you think is the more comfortable thing to do first is probably not it. It's the comfort that comes after the hard work right now. And if you also look at with the South Node in Libra, there's a lot of weighing it out or trying to find the perfect kind of way of doing this. And it's like, there is no perfect way. Everything's sloppy, especially when Saturn and Neptune happen to be beginning their station slowly, and you start to feel them when they ain't moving. And they're both within a little over 10 degrees, but it's 10 degrees now. They're in the very tight spot now, and this is where the world starts to freak out. And so you got to be one of those people that aren't going to freak out during these times. This is where you're really stepping into that place of being like, I'm not going to take that insanity route. And I know that it might feel, people think like I'm just political on one side. It's like, I have been stating and predicting that you are going to see this like crazy Christian fucking shit get so out of control that it just did. That when you even hear the excuses, they're trying to say like, that's a document that's just so important. It has to be there in schools. Like, what? The 10 Commandments have to be in school? Like, what? Like, should we put the Emerald tablets in there and force everybody to do it? Like, we don't force our will on others, especially when it comes to our belief systems and so forth. This is Jupiter and Gemini. And we are in a crazy place. And I know there's Christians out there that watch me, and I'm not trying to put down you as a Christian, right? I understand the Christ energy. The long story short is these stories, these things, this is where people's subconscious stuff, they keep doubling down instead of like doing the real work. Like, well, it is separation of church and state. And no way should the state, the government be employing what religion has to be put in a school. That is fucking crazy. And does that make it look good for people on the right? Fuck no. That makes people go, I don't want that shit. This is what I've been warning about. But we have to remember that this is all by design. Because if you actually think about it with these 2 full moons, how much of this was all planned a long time ago? A long time ago. Everything we're watching has been planned. Because you go left, it's insanity. You go right, it's insanity. But then they try and make one side look a little bit less freaky. And we all have to go, are we going to follow that shit? Because right now, it's kind of funny. It's a full moon in Capricorn and on a solstice. And these are the solstice points. I mean, we're within a degree of them tropically, of course. But if we actually were to look up at the stars, you know, it's pretty significant for us to really be covering. It's pretty much covering this whole understanding of the northern, the summer or southern hemisphere. It's even crazier to think that, you know, most people don't understand more land mass is on the northern hemisphere than the southern hemisphere. So, you know, this is why tropical astrology is based off the northern hemisphere, right? And one of the reasons, there's many other reasons why, but this is a really interesting moment because if you actually take yourself back to, like, let's say, not 1776, but 1777, this is when things started to get really hard in the Revolutionary War. It was hard at the beginning, but it looks like it's all going to fail. The revolution's going to fail. Benjamin Franklin was having trouble in France. The French were stopped not really believing. They didn't really want to send over much. Right? Leo. I left my cat in this room. So you got to remember, these are the times that try men's souls. That was what was ordered upon soldiers at the time. And I don't even want to get into the draft, and especially with Mars and Uranus on their getting ready to come into conjunction here in July, conjunct Algol. I don't even want people to start going there. But at the same time, I got to be real with you all. Like, that's not a coincidence. That's not something that you can just fluff away. That what Mercury and Cancer is saying is, no, there is no comfort unless you do the hard work first, or at least this is where you start planning your life. Very importantly, because Pluto is going to retrograde back into Capricorn. We are going to have Mars that's going to conjunct Uranus soon. We are going to have Mars and Pluto in opposition for fucking, it's going to feel like a half a year. And we are going to see Mars retrograde in Leo and ingress back into retrograde and stay in Cancer forever at its fall. So I would say that this is the moment for you to get real as fuck. And it's getting real. And I think that, you know, where's the collective going to come together? We only are going to come together when all the hard work is done in our own lives. When we got our personal lives truly together, and we all need to make adjustments. We all need to make it better. We all need to come back to the basics and go, how do I make things better? Okay, let me come back to the basic, what works, what doesn't work, and also thinking about the long term and remembering that we're going back. We're going back to a world, a timeline where we all subconsciously don't want to go back to. You know, that's why when you think of the election or you think of any of this stuff, it's like, I don't know if I really want to deal with all that shit. Well, we're going to have to face it all again. We have to come back to all that shit. No matter what is, and these are times for preparation. It's 2 full moons in Capricorn. That last full moon that's going to happen in a month from now, it's so important to see. Yeah, it's going to be conjunct Pluto, but while it's in Aquarius, it's going to be the last degrees, though, of Cancer and Capricorn, Venus is going to literally finally be a year gone around. Remember, Venus came stationary direct after its first actual retrograde in Leo in our lifetimes. So this will be Venus finally crossing the place, ironically, my birthday, because I'm 0 Leo. So my birthday this year is Venus, like 12 Leo something. But we have to remember too, like Uranus is going to be really on top of that algal exact. Mars will have just crossed it, and then Mars is coming to 0 Gemini to be there with Jupiter. And that's where the trumpet horns of war start to come loud. Okay? That's in a month from now. So no, the conversations right now are going to be rough. They're going to be hard. The life stuff you got to face is going to be hard. But if you do it and you do the work and you face it and you do it, you're going to be thankful. I don't know if anybody noticed this either, but on the next full moon in Capricorn is when Eris stations. The Trojan horse will have entered fully at this point, and soldiers will be walking out of the Trojan horse at that point, right? And so, we have to be prepared. This is a month of, in a solstice of not, we keep positive energy through taking care of ourselves, dealing with hard challenges in a respectable way, and actually doing the work and encouraging others as they go through the work. It's going to take a tough soul out there to do the right thing right now. You're going to get backlash with Pluto and Aquarius. Pluto and Aquarius is the shadow. And the shadow of this society. The shadow of the internet. The shadow of social media. The shadow of expectations of other people that have different values with it dispositing Uranus that's coming close to algal. And actually not just close, going to conjunct it in a month's time. And if you notice on the next full moon, it'll be Saturn and Neptune retrograde. So we're about to see in between these full moons, Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, retrograde in Pisces, with the ruler of Pisces, Neptune, that's retrograding as well. So that means both full moons are bringing in something. But this one's the prep. The next one is you're dealing with it as it will conjunct Pluto and then cross over. And then the sun will ingress into Leo, and it will be dramatic with Mars in sextile to the sun and its ingress into Leo. Uranus conjunct algal. Eris stationing. I don't know what to tell people, but like this is a time for you to not put your head and bury it in the sand. Burying your head in the sand is the worst thing you can do right now. You're not a flamingo in Florida. You know what I mean? You're not a flamingo. So this is the moment to where you have to start to be real as fuck. Like, are you willing to make the changes in your personal life? Mercury and Venus here are friendly. Who are your friends? Who are the people who are willing to actually be compassionate and emotionally, cool, and be willing to they don't have to take care of you, but it's been nice. I can see who the people are in my life personally who care about me. They're like, I fucking respect your decisions of what you have to make right now to fucking make things better. And these aren't like, I got to change something so I can do something next year. No, it's more like fucking what you can change right now, quick style, to make the changes as fast as you can and implement them. It's not about, and that's going to feel very like hard, but that's what this is about. Because if we think about Capricorn and timing, no matter how much you want to try and avoid it, we are looking up at, are you going to take the red pill for real? I've been saying this one for a while. It's like, are you going to take the red pill again? You might have already been awake. But the truth is the universe is coming back again, just like in Matrix 4. Neo has to take the fucking red pill again. And he has problems more so the second time. So the people who are quote unquote awake, all of us have a hard time eating the red pill again. And that's what this is. You know. And I put 1777 up there, and I'll just take the second to take a look at that because not the time to call me, people. Thank you. Back then, Pluto had retrograded back and ingressed into Capricorn. So if we go back to if we just go days backwards, oh, that's a Pluto in Aquarius. Oh, that's right. And there it went backwards, back into Capricorn. The same thing it will do this year. That's also an interesting time period because as Pluto is retrograde back into Capricorn, right? Oh yeah, forward. Mars is in a cardinal sign, and then Mars comes out of its retrograde. So that was kind of interesting, where we're going to go into a retrograde following the finishing up of Pluto ingressing back into Capricorn in a cardinal sign, yet it's going to be in Cancer in its weakest position. That was at its detriment. This will be at its fall. So the fall and the feeling of where, and plus Chiron is exactly returning. 23 degrees. Where am I showing you on this horoscope stuff right now for this full moon? 23 degrees Chiron. We have just gone to the Chiron return of the Pluto transit of moving from Capricorn to Aquarius, Aquarius to Capricorn, Capricorn to Aquarius. And for those people who, I don't know, we live in a really weird world right now, right? Like where some people just like don't like history for some reason. Oh God, yeah, whatever, I don't care. They're watching us everywhere. We'll go to that time period, like in July, right? American forces retreat from New York. Remember, New York was the first place that was lost. It's not going great. British forces capture over 200 of the American rear guard. The Constitution of Vermont signed, officially abolishing slavery. American Revolutionary War. Loyalists gain a tactical victory over patriots. It is going to feel like we are going to lose everywhere in our life, but you're not. This is also where, you know, I'll be honest with you, whoever's starting to look like the hero right now, like every Pluto transit, like Benedict Arnold, he looks like he's the guy, and then he ends up betraying at the end. So, and I brought this up, and he was a Capricorn. So, you know, the people who aren't going to be authentic right now are going to act like I know how to figure it out, and I fucking don't have problems. Like, we all have problems. Just fucking accept it. British troops occupy Philadelphia. Remember, this is where it gets so bad in the war that like literally it becomes to where it's like, is there ever going to be the idea that this will ever actually work? That's what you're feeling right now. The Chiron return of what we identify in our egos of what we want and what we think is going to happen, with Pluto being like, sorry, bitch, I'm taking you back to fucking Capricorn. 2 full moons, by the way, to remind you about it. And a Mars that's going to head towards Uranus as Uranus conjuncts Algol. Now, they didn't have that at that time. That's World War II shit. So that's where all the astrology is mixing all the great wars together. And I told people for a long time, I told people in 2020, what you need to pay more attention to is the selective service. And people thought I was fucking crazy. You need to pay attention to the hospitals. You need to pay attention. I'm like, I'm not paying attention to any of this shit because it's a bullshit lie. I said this shit right at the beginning. I said, you need to pay attention to the fucking selective service. And people thought I was, why? Some people didn't even know what that was. And I said, because at the end of this fucking Pluto Capricorn transit, they are going to take everybody and throw them into a fucking war. I said it. I've said it for so many years, and it finally has fucking happened. People are looking at me like, what the fuck? So this is your spiritual medicine. The United States celebrates its first Thanksgiving, marking October's victory by the American rebels. Now, remember, that's when Pluto is back. So let's go to December 18th, 1777, right? Now, I don't want to get people's hopes up, but we're not seeing that more till like a year plus away because of the fact that here's Pluto still in Capricorn, and gonna come back into Aquarius, right? And at the same token, well, the best way that I could put it is we have a lot more crazy shit on the way, and they already had Uranus and Gemini, right? We're not getting some big breakthrough, right? The big breakthroughs will be how you prepare, how you take this preparing energy of like, it's not easy times, but it's about how you have resilience to get through things and be willing to go, I'm going to change things. I'm going to do this. I'm going to change that. I'm going to be into that. You know, and we have a Mars retrograde coming to oppose Pluto the whole time. They didn't have that. They had Mars with Pluto to conjunct for their last time in Capricorn there, right? We've seen that already. We're getting this like whole, no, I got to go backwards. And if you go to Pluto as it comes back, that's their 2024. That's our, so 1778. And that's very relatable to now. That it looks bad and things start to turn the corner. And right now, it's how we turn the corner now. It's how we turn the corner now. And if you can start to turn that corner in your life and start to face this shit, you're going to start to see the much better energies in your life. And so, you know, this is definitely a time to not be afraid, but to be resilient and to face the facts while being able to face that there is so much that can change in your life by the responsibilities that you take on. And these are big responsibilities, I know, but they're not ones that really are that hard if you're willing to be honest with yourself. This is also the sun in exact quincunx to Pluto in Aquarius retrograde. So if we take that, it's like, oh shit, yeah, this is not going to be an easy emotional fix. This is not some sort of patch job you can do. This is not some sort of like, you know, no matter what you're thinking under the sheets will make you feel better. There's fucking EMFs fucking coming everywhere. There's 5G everywhere. There's satellites with it, even if you're in the middle of nowhere. There's weird fucking frequencies trying to fucking tickle your brain and your emotions to get you to make changes, whether you like it or not. And even if we do look at like Uranus at 25 degrees, we got Venus at 10, right? So that's that's 40 and then 45. That's Uranus in semi-square, to Mercury, Mercury. So this is where, believe it or not, this 45 degree angle on this full moon is extremely hard because you can't see in many ways that it's rattling people's uncomfortable brains and that the world is not stable. Okay, Uranus and Taurus, this is an unstable world. There's continental drift, for God's sake. Always. There's more. There's volcanoes. There's weird shit happening. And this Mercury in Cancer is trying to find comfort mentally. And with Jupiter in Gemini, it's searching, and turn the search off. Stop searching and no file being found. Stop running your CPU to find something that you know is not there. The comfort is not in what you find. The comfort is in what you do, in the changes that you must make. You got to face them. What's not working in your life? What's not good? You make the fucking changes. You be responsible and own it. Just own that shit. It's not that hard. Because it's your ego that doesn't want to. That's what Mars is going to blow the fuck up when it's on Uranus, on Algol, is like those with ego that can't let their ego go and take responsibility and just be like, hey, fucking, I have problems. I got to fix these things. That's what you have to do now. But no, you want to search for some sort of better way to see things. And that's not going to help. Like, as I did that, and I have fucking sick brand new monitors and shit. My whole monitor on this just went all fucking fucked up. I can still see, but it's all like, meh. Hold on. There we go. So, I will be doing spiritual dance music. I'm already a little bit late, but I have a whole new schedule on High Vibe. I'm announcing on High Vibe now with the High Vibe Leo King Live I'm going to do, and going into some deeper astrology. So if you want to join me on there, and I would definitely recommend joining me on High Vibe. I know a lot of people out there have left because they're like, dude, you do shows at midnight. You do shows so late. I know. That's why I fucking made the changes this week. And people have been wondering, like, what is this guy doing in the background? I've been fucking putting all my energy into my personal self, my personal life, my family, and also shit I haven't even revealed that I'm excited to announce about the new High Vibe and the schedule. And people are going to be like, what? Yeah, shows are going to be at 10 a.m. My life, I got to change things. So fucking, I know that I've tried multiple times, and that's a good example of this time. Pluto at the end of fucking Capricorn is, you're going to fucking, it doesn't matter how many times you fall, it's how many times you get back up and fucking try and keep doing it. I don't feel bad about it. I learned from every time that I've tried and I failed, and I fucking am going to succeed. I'm determined. And you got to listen to what others do, but you can't do it exactly the way that everybody wants. But you can get a general consensus. And you know what? To make those changes, it means that you have to do something. It means that you can't do everything all at once. So you got to make hard choices here, right? Of like, okay, am I going to restore my energy? Yeah. In order to have the energy to make that kind of a change? Fuck yeah. Okay. That's what the Cancer and the Capricorn axis work out. Or sometimes in life, I got to take a risk. Okay, I'm not going to sleep as much. I'm not going to eat maybe as much today. I'm not going to do this as much today, right? That's the balance. Right now, if you're not taking a risk, and I think that the only risk is your fear of making the changes that will actually make things better in the long term, more comfortable. I think that it would be detrimental for you to just think, I'm just doing enough to stay comfortable. Like, we've all got to make the hard choices that are going to make our lives better, We're going to have to make those hard choices. And these are things that are pretty simple. Use Jupiter and Gemini. Come back to the basics. Turn off the search for the file. Look at your environment. Look at the things that have already transpired in your life and how are they operating? How are they working? What programs are freezing in your life? What stuff is just not working perfectly, or always constantly freezing, or always constantly not getting you to the place to where it's making you go insane? Instead of losing your mind, go, okay, that program doesn't work. Let me reprogram it. Or let me get a better program, or let me find a different way to run the program, or let me stop running it when the computer starts. Let me turn that off as a program that starts. Maybe that's the problem because the CPU is overloaded. So maybe in your life, it's like, well, I always do this every day. Oh, okay. Well, maybe you shouldn't do that until the end. You know, like, I've been in therapy for 9 years starting next month, because it was July of 2015. And like my therapist and all these therapy sessions I've been doing lately and all this stuff, it's like, I look at things sometimes the wrong way. It's like, oh, with my schedule, I got to do this. And then it was just simple. It was like, why don't you just go work and do all this shit and then do that after work? I was like, oh. It took me a long time to figure that one out. It took Jupiter on my North Node in Gemini. That's where we're at. It's not that hard. I think the hardest part is for people that can't just admit it's not working and be like finding an excuse to be like, well, I'm going to keep doing it. Cheer on people right now that are willing to say, it's not about I'm not doing well. It's more like I'm fucking tired of it not working in a good way, and I'm spending more energy than I can. And whether that's mental energy, whether that's you want to evolve and it's not evolving anymore, whether that's your emotions and they're being frustrated and they're being stressed, whether that's, and I'm using all astrology right now, or that's I'm feeling like I'm losing grip because I'm falling behind, which we're all falling behind in a million places. So don't act like you've got everything under control right now. Right? There is no such thing as that. The only control that we have is admitting and accepting, hey, you know what? I have some fucking shit I need to make it better, and I need to redo the program here in order to make it better. And I'm going to do that first in order for me and to take the actions now that are going to prepare. And whether you want to look at that as in the world, like I've been telling people on High Vibe, and this is why, YouTube sucks. But people on High Vibe know I've already been telling parents who have kids that are 18 to 26 how to, figure this thing out. And if you haven't even already thought about that, and you're just what? Going to stick your head in the sand right now? Your kid's just graduating from college, your kid's just graduating from high school, and you really think it's just going to go normal with Pluto and Sag in their chart? No. With Jupiter opposing their Pluto? No. But if you understand what to do, And I think that's going to be the hard part of Pluto's ingress back into Capricorn is no matter what you want to succeed with, destiny always wins at the end of the day. But that doesn't mean that we don't have some sort of, dare I say, some sort of will. I'm not going to say free will. To at least make sure that we're aligned with our spiritual destiny. And so the ego right now with Chiron and the North Node in Aries is extremely difficult. We saw the North Node in Chiron in Aquarius during the end of Neptune and Pisces when Abraham Lincoln was coming up on the scene and the country was divided extremely. That we're running all the transits that you can do about where are we going to keep the divide going? The only way to get out of it is to put your ego aside and actually do the work. And you know what? People love cheering on other egos because they're in ego. And then people love cheering people who are willing to drop the ego and actually do the work. And you get to make that choice. I'm not going to make that choice for you. So I hope this helps people because really it can help you out a lot. The good news, I like that we have 2 full moons in Capricorn. The last time that we had 2 full moons in a cardinal sign was in 2019 when we had 2 full moons in Libra. And if I don't know if you remember, I said the double full moon in Libra, the end of the relationship game. And I told people that because that was right before the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in 2020, I'm like, this is the prequel to realizing that relationships can be a lot better. And I think that relationships are in a better space now. Some people might not, but again, if they're not following what I stated, that anybody that you meet that you never met or they never saw you or they never saw you on social media or anything like that after June of 2020, like, I'm sorry, it's not gonna connect. But that's a whole nother thing for the Jupiter and Gemini special that I really go deeper into, and I answer those questions for people, and I go way deep into it. So you can get that on highvibe.tv. Jupiter's wild ride through Gemini. I cover all 12 signs, but 3 hours before that, I also cover the whole collective and what's going to happen and the predictions and what's happening and how it's all tying in since 2012 and more. And I will not reveal today the big thing that I am announcing on Monday and launching that I've worked many years on, and it's 12 years of my astrology work finally able to do what has never been able to be done before. And the astrology community is about to get rattled by the Leo King again of like, this motherfucker. No. I hope, that's the whole thing. You got to keep doing things to survive in this world and also think about the future at the same time while still doing the things that you got to do. It's a very crazy world. Let's see what we got card-wise. No, I'm not kicking it on Twitch. Sorry. You want spiritual dance music? It's on High Vibe. Don't know what to tell you. The only thing I do on YouTube is new moon, full moon horoscope, history and the stars. That's what you get. You miss out on the dailies. You miss out on full disclosure. You miss out on deep astrology. You miss out on my Leo King live stuff. You miss out on the deep shit. So you can, and I'm deeper than the fucking people giving you free shit. So imagine how much deeper it is in High Vibe. Think about that. All right, what do we got here? Believe it or not, starting Monday, the astrology world's going to have something that has never been done before. And I can honestly say that with full truth. And they're about to get rattled. So, because they didn't jump on the right. The way that I started the Leo King app in 2014 with video, the first astrology and all horoscope and all video and tarot app video in the world, subscription based in app stores, never been done before. I just did that in a different way that launches Monday. People are going to be like, fuck. And then a month from now, 2 months from now, the stuff we're working on right now to launch, because it's the beta mode of this coming out, you will literally be like, holy fuck. It will blow your mind for the rest of your, like, you will literally be like, how the fuck did you do that? It'll be like, yo, I'm working with a fellow high viber on this. It's amazing. So just know that the whole entire astrology world is going to change on Monday forever based off what we're putting out. It's like these other people did not think. All right. And I'm not going to reveal it because I'll reveal it on Monday, but No, you can join High Vibe instead of telling me to be on Twitch where they delete the video in 7 days. So why would I go spend all this time to stream to Twitch when they don't even let other people watch the video after 7 days? They kick it off. It's the worst. It's the most worthless platform of all time. It's only about gamers. So, I actually already slipped it up. I don't know what that means. Missed out on other creators on Twitch? I mean, I'm not against creators, right? But I'm just saying that, like, they ain't doing spiritual dance music, astrology shit. So, like, every time I've been on there, it's like all these tokens and keep tipping me. Girls, fucking, I'm playing games with my fucking lingerie on. No problem with that. But I'm just saying, like, that's not who I am. You got to think of the platform you're on. So, like, YouTube is everything under the sun. Okay. Twitch is, yeah, I didn't make it on YouTube. You know? And nobody's, go look at the other astrologers. They charge $25 for their Patreon a month, and they give you like one report, two reports. They don't do videos every day. They don't do videos every week. They don't do shows. They don't do it in a studio. They don't do that much. And I charge $13 a month, $13.99. And fuck it, it's also a social media app, like a Twitter for spirituality, where you can follow people and comment and create your own chat. You can put up your own video, you can put up your own pictures, and the whole community can see it in an app form or on the website. And we're on Apple TV, Roku, everything. Nobody does that. But every astrologer on here, go look at their Patreon. I dare you to spend just one fucking day to go to all the astrologers on YouTube and go look at their Patreon and see how much they charge. And how much I charge, and what you get with me at the highest quality, and what you get with them at and they don't fucking go that deep, and they only give you a little bit. Well, thanks for $30 this month to give you 2 videos. Really? And everybody comes on the Leo King? Shit. Fuck. And you guys all think the Leo King's about money? Okay. I don't see them putting that money back into fucking creating something badass for you all. They don't. They don't take risks with their money to put it back into making astrology cooler. Think of that. They go on Patreon. We got the 3 of Cups. You know what? I like that we got this card. Because we got to really be in that environment around energy and people. I love this Mercury, Venus, and Cancer but I think it's about the supportive energy. You know, when you have those friends that are just like, you know what, I got your back. Like, I had one of my jet ski friends yesterday. He had to come pick something up from a race that we did in Huntington Beach a couple months ago. And I'm not kidding, I ran out of gas. I don't run out of gas, but I was late. I was like, I got to fucking meet him. I had to go back to the studio. I fucking was on my street. I ran out of fucking gas. I fucking called him, and he's at the studio waiting on his motorcycle. I'm like, hey, bro, I'm down the street right, I guess. He's like, I got you, bro. He fucking shows up because he carries like a gallon of gas extra on his fucking badass Harley. I'm like, fuck, dude. I have gas in there. I could have walked over there. He's like, no, bro, I got you. You got to find people who are down, who are willing to celebrate not just your victories, but your path to your victory as you go through these changes, as you go through these things. It's the encouragement that we can give to others when they're real. I'll keep my own personal self out of this. It was the first time in my life I've been like, wow, it doesn't matter if I'm going through hard shit, family, going in the hospital, all that. If I'm not able to show up oh my God. To find encouragement has been very, but I don't freak out about it. I go, well, people will be back. They'll see. Oh, I pulled 2 cards. The Hangman reversed and the 5 of Swords reversed. That's crazy. I feel like you don't need to push too hard on this. But Five of Swords to me reversed also is you're not pushing hard enough. And the Hangman reverse, this isn't about, I just want to be free and fancy and just go party. And it's like, no, you got to do the work and you got to get back to that place where there is this pause that we need to pay attention to. There is this getting on top of things while at the same time. Getting on top of things, not pushing too much, but also there's really nothing holding us back from doing this work. But we hold ourselves back if we're just like, I don't want to be aware. I don't want to see things that's there. And we're just too focused on finding the yuppies that just will cheer us on about our complaints instead of the actions we're doing to deal with our challenges. There's a difference between complaining about your life and then there's a difference between, and I'm talking about your own life. I'm not talking about, because some people are like, yeah, I talk stuff on Leo King and he just comes at me. I'm not coming at you, motherfucker, okay? I'm not coming at you people. You all can throw your lettuce at me and I'm telling you, I'm sorry that I was not able to do what I was able to do this week because I'm changing my life. I'm sorry that I've said I've done that before when I had a baby, when all that shit. I am learning. I am a fucking double Leo going through Pluto and Capricorn in the 6th. I am sorry. I am doing my best. This time I've made massive changes. This is the first time in years I've woken up every day in the morning. Okay? Years. So, I respect, I love every single person that's ever supported me and of people in the world that don't even know me. And I think that we all have to just remember that this is our preparation moment, because that shit is already, the shattered reality has shattered. And if anybody is at this point still in denial, God bless them. But we're about to get the other hammer now, the battle of the gods. So, the age of deception. Purgatory. Rising through the darkness last. And they're all happening at the same time. So, I appreciate you all. Much love to all my High Vibe fam. Much love to my YouTube people who watch me. Because not really a family here, since it's just a YouTube page. But I appreciate you. Definitely make sure that you join High Vibe and get that Jupiter wild ride through Gemini. And remember, the time machine we're in. Remember spiritual dance music, and be the person who's willing to not be afraid to do what you must do, even when it looks like it's not going to work out and you're surrounded by redcoats everywhere. You know, when we talk about in the spiritual community NPCs, this is exactly what a loyalist would have been. Oh, King George, yeah. He says, keep it going, keep taxing the stuff, keep doing, that's, oh yeah, get your next shot. Did you do that? Ba-da-da-da. And you know what? You have to be willing to even DJ to them. You have to be, a light worker is willing to DJ to all people, whether they are the loyalists, whether they are the NPCs, whether they are, you have to learn to be cool and do it with everyone while still holding who you are. Because they end up becoming Americans, a lot of the British. They end up becoming, well, some of them lost a lot of their homes, so the loyalists usually lose their homes, or the NPCs do too. But we have to remember that we're all one at the end of the day. And that will be the way that we rise through the darkness. That's really why I know a lot of people look at Aquarius as oneness, or they might even look at Pisces. You can look at the whole astrology as oneness. But I think that the Saturn-Neptune conjunction at 0 degrees at the 0 point is that point where the split can become back together and be redefined, where everybody does get their say and their versions of it instead of one side. It's not the left that's going to win or the right. It's the left and the right that comes together in all of us that has to redefine this world and redefine how things go to where we can do the best that we can. And we will with Pluto trine Uranus. But it will probably be a lot of systems being taken down. Not even probably. It will be. And you're going to feel that this month. We will watch tons of systems start to collapse. But it's just the full moon energies really showing that on both full moons. And then by the time that Pluto ingresses back into Capricorn and we go into the eclipse energies, that's when it's going to get very real. And you're still going to have to know how to keep it cool. So, anyway, well, I appreciate you all. I will see you all on highvibe.tv. See you for Spiritual Dance Music 2. I'm doing a very rare one. I'm not going to be talking much, and I'm going to be doing it in my backyard. And it's going to be about the music with a message. Bye-bye. Thanks so much.